who decides to join this live, or if you're watching this after, I want to thank you for tuning in. Kyle Krupiak, welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in. As the crypto market is under a bit of a retracement, as it's been for several weeks, maybe the better part of a couple months here now. It's caused a lot of people to lose interest at the most important time, in my opinion, to watch this. And yes, I'm struggling with my voice, but I wanted to do my due diligence here and talk about a couple things. We will get into XRP here, obviously. But before that, I want to take a look at this before we get interrupted again. Good early afternoon, 12:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I don't know if anybody stayed. I don't know if everybody's left. I don't even know how many people are watching, so I'm just going to do this like a normal update, and if anybody answers, responds, so be it. I wanted to come on and talk about HBAR, see if it's showing some kind of setup here that we have to look into for XR forward. Appreciate that, Devin. Hey, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, YouTube's been giving me a very hard time as of the last about month and a half here, so it's been a very interesting time so far on YouTube. It often makes you rethink your strategies. Terry, welcome in. Chat, good evening. Or good early afternoon. MC Prosperity, welcome. Jose, good morning. So with HBAR, what I'm looking at, and as you know, my voice has been struggling, but I think it comes at a good time because some of the stuff I've been putting out, or some of the stuff I'm doing, you know, maybe I just need to pull it back a little bit, and that's why my voice is doing this, because the support for like the midday market reports just hasn't been there like I would have hoped. We get about 400 views, but I think my time is better served doing other things. So we'll see how we go on the midday market report going forward. It doesn't have the I don't know. There's something missing. There's something missing. A lot of negativity. In this community too, there's been a lot more negativity I've noticed in the comments. A lot of people missing the picture of what's going on here with this bear market, and that are just giving up, but they're using this time to become more negative. They're using this time to kind of take shots at people in the community, and that's not what we're here for. We're unified. We take positivity over negativity, and the emotions are going to make you 10 times out of 10 miss out on good opportunities, but also lose good relationships with maybe somebody in the audience, but also myself. So I don't like to associate with the ones that are pushing that kind of a flow. So, you know, just stay positive, be helpful. So, that's what we got to do. Oh, no. I actually pulled back here a little bit. You know, I go based on public perception. And if I can do updates and that's going to get me my, you know, if that's what people want, you know, I love doing the lives. And I will definitely, I'll definitely be doing, you know, lives at night going forward, assuming I feel okay. But with Julie's surgery, I definitely self-reflected here a little bit. And I got to sometimes give a little bit less of myself. And then, you know, but the little bit of absence becomes a little bit of want. You know, when I'm here too much, then some take me for granted. When I'm not here enough, then some actually desire what I had given before. So it's actually a beautiful thing. It's actually a beautiful thing. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. With HBAR here, let's just get into the business here, because my voice, you can hear, it's not great. HBAR is working on a potential reversal here. Not a long-term reversal, but a short-term reversal. We've got this 488 level that I'm really looking at. If we can hold this first layer, this would be a beautiful sign. We've got what looks like a descending pattern forming, and we can say we overextended a little bit on that push down right here. This was an overextension of the wicks, as you can see the wicks, and we can simply just bring it through like this. And if this is what we're forming, this would be a good sign if we can hold the structure. And a breakup from this kind of, it's kind of like a descending triangle, you could call it. Some would say it's a descending channel, but I think it's more than a channel. And if you break up from here, we're looking at the daily time frame now. You'd be looking at a retest of the 200 days, somewhere up here. Most likely come back to that pivot point at 575. So right now we're at about 495. Let's just say you had a bounce here. That's about a 13.36 to a 16.5% move. Now, if you're looking to play a bounce here, what you're looking for is you're going to look to try to buy on this downtrending support. So we came down here. Now are we going to continue to travel down? We have pulled up here in the daily. But the closer you can hit to this 492 level now, or to 488, depending on if we play this true, this very well could lead to a nice little pump here, in my opinion. I hope the proper party's news is worthy. I don't, if you're talking about the Ripple party on the 29th, I think there's going to be a lot of people very disappointed. Very disappointed. Because there's too many influencers saying that it's going to be a settlement. It's not. If it's a settlement, I think it's the less than 1% chance. I'm the first to tell you I'd love to hear that. I'm being realistic here. I think the best you can hope for in forms of news is a Ripple IPO. And a lot of people have asked me, what does that mean for XRP? Let's just put it this way. The Ripple IPO means liquidity comes out of the crypto market into the stock market to buy Ripple over XRP. Not very many are going to own both. You and I may own both, but not very many people are going to own both. I'm just calling it for what it is. So if that's the case, you could have some that dump out to buy into the IPO. It's just the way it works. But having positive publicity, being able to IPO Ripple on the stock market seems to lead credence to the fact that they might be pulling back their stance against Ripple as a company. Just consider that, though. So it is not an empty message if that's the announcement. So this is what I'm looking at. Does anybody have an opinion on H-bar while we're talking? Does anybody have an opinion on the fact that this could be possibly trying to have a breakout attempt? We have not in the long-term pattern, but a breakout attempt to retest the drop point here for H-bar. Is that out of the realm of possibility here for everybody who's watching? That's what I'm saying. I think that's what's happening. We very well could be creating that W again right here in the longer time frames. And I think it's playing out now. I think it could play out a little bit longer, as we can see, until October 14th, I believe it said. October 16th. But there's going to definitely be some kind of... I don't got the voice to do Chainlink. I apologize. I'm literally here to cover H-bar today, and I think XRP. But Polygon, what is it? Polkadot. But, yeah, no, I scratch my head too sometimes, Terry. Only because the market seems to be very biased towards a dump. And then I look at H-bar and I study it further today, and I'm like, yeah, the rest of the market might be looking at a dump, but H-bar's already created this head and shoulders pattern. It already reversed completely. So now the likelihood is we get a small rally here to see how bearish we are. Even if that small rally gets shut down at the top of the pattern, you're still looking at like a 5% move here to come to the top of the pattern. But I'm saying, I think H-bar is trying to signify that we might have a short-term rally here. If we break this structure and lose 488, it's going to invalidate this thesis. For the most part, it would pretty much invalidate this. You could hold here and even the neckline through and say, hey, Tom, you can come down to 4.6. You could, but that's not what you're trying to form with this kind of a structure. It's not impossible to hold it from there, but that would just kind of probably mean we'd have a fake out wick to the downside before we had a further move up. So, I mean, that's what it's speaking to me right now. We came down, formed a nice W reversal, came up, and now we're doing like a descending triangle, which are bullish reversals from the bottom. So that's what it seems like it wants to try to do. That's what H-bar seems like it wants to do. We've got 52 people watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit that like button. That really helps push this content. It's the only way to push us through the algorithm. And as most of you can see, I've been getting shadow banned on YouTube. My lives get interrupted a lot, but I was able to restart it today, and I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you also share this on social media, as that does help with the analytics. If you don't want to do any of that, send a YouTube super chat. It's been days and days and days since I've got a YouTube super chat, or join Tom's Army. But really, I guess the simplest thing you could do is hit that like button and share if you appreciate my work. You know, sometimes I look away from the likes when people are sending donations, but when nobody's donating, those likes are the lifeline for me, so more people can see this content. It's that simple. And then I just think it's a sign of respect for all the time I put in, hitting the like button, just so we can grow this community. So this is what I'm seeing. It really looks like we're in this descending, some would say, I guess, a descending. I like the descending triangle here. And I think if we break out appropriately, this should have a nice move up to the top of the formation. Right around, it could be it's that 200 day in the daily, but I think it would have eyes for 575. I don't think it would just stop up here. I think it would have eyes a little higher. I think 5.6 is a nice target at the 200, but we'll see how it keeps traveling. This tactical move, I guess 5.6 would be a nice area, but 5.75 is that pivot area. So we'll keep this up here around this area just in case. So that's what we're looking at for H bar. That's as clear as I can be. And then if we look at that in terms of XRP, does that mean underlining there could be something setting up for XRP similarly like we've been talking about? We have been rejected at the 524 so far, but I still think with XRP, and we'll go into the other chart in a minute, I still think this is showing signs of an inverted head and shoulders here, that if it does come out, because this is starting to form a descending wedge, or you can call it whatever you want. I know everybody has their own interpretation, but it is starting to form this, and if it does it properly and gets on top of it, I'll show you what we'd be looking at. We'd be looking at where I circled it, but it wouldn't come up to that side. Since we broke down this, we'd just come to the top side and probably retest 52.4, and then if not, and we come higher, 54. There's still that chance that this inversion here that I'm talking about can play out larger. Boom, boom, boom. That's an inverted head and shoulders here if it plays out. If it holds this structure, this leads credence to the fact that you could have a breakout attempt coming, and that is not a joke. This is not a joke. So, what do you guys think? If you're looking at H bar and you look at this, what do we think? Do we think that's an inverted head and shoulders sneakily designed within that formation? And when you fill it out completely, you can see how that's well within the range of a actual pattern consolidation. Remember we said there's a bull flag disguised in the bear flag. That's why we drew out the top flag. We draw it all the way through just to see. MC Prosperity, thank you so much for breaking my slump. I appreciate that. With the $10 donation coming in clutch, I greatly appreciate it. I thought more people would be appreciative of the way I do things, with no paid promotions, advertisements, and sponsorships. You know, so you don't have to sit through all the stuff. And that means just hitting the like button. It's that simple, but, you know. So, but I've seen a lot of negativity starting to overtake people now, and it's not a good look. It's really not. We need to stay positive. If we're not positive, it really does. It sends us into a weird direction. And I just accidentally deleted my uptrend there. So we're going to fix this together. We're going to go back and get the 2020 uptrend. But honestly, everybody, the power of unity, the power of love instead of hate, it's a magical thing. It's a magical thing. You know, it speaks a lot about some of the ones who are just trying to come in here and ruin things for everybody. You know, even if I don't come on here, I'm still doing my business every day. That's what the most don't realize. I still do exactly the same thing whether I come on and share it with you or not. I just more than likely, I like to come on 5 to 6 times a day. But remember that energy, the energy, if I'm using more energy to try to get through the negativity, I'm going to come on less. It's just I'm a normal person. I won't have as much energy. If there's a lot of upliftingness, a lot of positivity within the comments, a lot of unification, and a lot of people that want to be here and actually participate, that makes me want to be here more, and I'm not using as much negative energy to try to weed out the negativity. It just is becoming an overriding factor that, you know, I want us to be on the same page. So this is what we're looking at for XRP. I think that it's speaking probably with what we're seeing with H bar. We still need a retest. It's just it's as simple as that. We've had the breakdown from the rising channel, the small one, and all it is a corrective phase. And if we can hold this means from this channel, we've actually created a new support from it. So we kind of rode the channel up, came up here to the support after coming down here, and now we can work through this area, which would speak to at least a rejection point coming here at about the 524 level again. But it looks like we're going to go back and start back up. Tanya, welcome in, love. No, you don't need to go back. I'll talk about it again real quick. Because I appreciate your support. And the fact you took the time to come in here and take a look. So with H-bar, this is what we're looking at, Tanya. This is what we're looking at. We have this descending triangle, it looks like. Some could say it's a falling, you put it out, a lot of people will put it however they want. Just in this small area, I think we're showing, we have a W reversal here. If we can hold this structure, we got this W. That's a nice Gartley, it looks like. Those are bullish. Now it looks like we've got a descending triangle, or some will say a wedge, I suppose. But this is still a bullish reversal if it holds this structure. It can come down here and overextend, but we need to hold that 488 level. You don't want to swing past that little overrun. This right now is just an overextension on a wick. So let's just stay in this formation, and if we do, we could be looking at a move up to that 559, 56 area, or the pivot at 575. I would actually feel more comfortable if we're not going to use the 200-day in the daily now that because this, we don't even have to play it like the old pivot level now. We can play it at, that's pretty close. It's not 575, but it's 573, because that's that drop point. So that's where I'm going to play that from. But the 200-day, as we said, is right here in this area. That's the 200-day in the daily. So that is definitely something I'm watching here. I don't think there's much more of a way to get it any more transparent than this without having to pay somebody to get it. So for everybody who comes here day after day, even in these bear markets, I greatly appreciate you. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. I've said it from the beginning, I'm not the most popular person, but we've made a way in this community over the last 2.5, almost 3 years now, in March of next year, to where we've gained over 18,500 subscribers. But we go through times where we get a lot of people in here that try to ruin the flow, and this is one of those times. Not in this live, just if you go back and look at the comments of the past, probably last month of updates and videos, you will see how the negative energy is seeping in. Some of the ones who claim to be a certain way, they're starting to let that emotion dictate who they really are. They're starting to show me who they really are. And that makes it less enjoyable for me. I come here every day because I want everybody to get ahead in this next chapter. This is historical evidence for me, if nothing else. It's historical data. So when somebody tells me in 2028, why didn't you help everybody? I'll say I've been grinding my ass since 2021 every single day, regardless of who supports and who doesn't, whether negative or positive. I prefer positivity. Matt, Julie's doing a little better. She's actually outside right now enjoying the fresh air. She still got stitches in for a couple weeks, and it hurts a lot, you know, it burns. So I think the big slap in the face here, everybody, for me personally, is I was putting in a lot of work today at Julie's surgery, and that day the God spoke to me. You know, you have to see where you're at. You have to know your place. And my place was certainly not where I thought it was. I lost 7 subscribers, believe it or not. And that doesn't count the ones who subscribed that day. So it could have been 50 subscribers for I know. Some people felt a certain kind of way because of Julie's surgery and because who knows? And, you know, I lost a portion of the new audience. So when I see stuff like that, it's like you're trying to lift people up, not push them down. So, you know, the vibe flows the way the vibe flows. So I command respect because of my integrity, because of ethics, because of the way I provide or conduct myself, because of the quality of the content I put out. Nobody can do the charts like I can. And that's not being big-headed. It's just I've learned something that many can't see. But, you know, there's a certain layer of me, too, where I come out less emotional today. I come out less happy. That's not a sign of anybody who's in here right now. That's a sign of the overall vibe. Yep. Terry, it's like I told you from the beginning with these short positions. Be very, very careful where you enter these shorts. Because right now, I'm telling you, everything speaks down, but we still have the weekly golden cross that overridingly speaks. And that is something a lot of people are ignoring. The weekly golden cross has not gone anywhere. It's just converging right now, which often happens after XRP has golden crosses in the weekly. Every time it happens, the price action right now would be a minimum of a 53% loss if it's already hit the swing low here. That's a minimum of 53% every time we have a weekly golden cross. If we go to 38 cents, we continue the 60% or more every time we have it. But that gets updated. The data gets updated. Right now, we still have the golden cross. It hasn't recrossed back down. It hasn't invalidated. In fact, what we're showing is a lot of weakness trying to break down here. We're trying in the weekly, but we have no volume. So now we start to look at the fact, can we invalidate the daily time frame? This structure right now, some would say all the indicators are pointing bearish. The factory broke down from that small channel would be bearish. Remember, the deep dark secret here is the exponential moving averages is a lagging indicator. So what? We had a death cross. That's lagging. That's a lagging indicator. It told us the death cross after it already happened. That's why I don't like them. But it gives us a way of seeing if we're still bearish. And the fact that we haven't broke this structure, now we put in a nice V recovery, and it looks like we put in an inverted left arm and right arm here on the pattern formation. And it looks like we just rode the rising channel up like a set of stairs for the next, like we're on the top floor now. Now we're trying to get into the attic. Like, think about it. We're in the main floor trying to get into the attic, and if we fall back to the basement, now we're in some trouble. That's how you need to look at it. We're at home right now. Where we're at, we're in home. We're home. This is home. You stay in this structure, this bull flag, this guy's in a bear flag, plays true. You're home. If it plays to here, the majority of the time we're going to break up. I know, it's contrarian to what it looks like, but that's the truth. Some people might unsubscribe because I'm telling you the truth, but that's okay. I'm starting to actually enjoy the fact when I ruffle a little feathers. I'm enjoying the fact that I make some think and they have to unsubscribe because I make them feel a certain kind of way. I like that. It's been like that my whole life. I make people see themselves through me. And that can be a good or bad thing. But we have a lot of bonds we've created here as well. So for the ones, I've always said this since the beginning, the ones who stick it out through these times and don't attack people personally and can keep their emotions in check at the most stressful of times are the ones in the end that are going to get the most out of me, personally. So we're opening eyes here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm opening eyes as well. This bearish narrative that we're trying to think could happen to 38 cents may never materialize. It may never materialize. And that would actually be this trend line. Hit there. Hit there. Hit there. So now that I rewrote it out, it might actually be lower. This could actually be lower than I was thinking because I went back just a tiny bit farther. See, this is where it gets to me too, where I'm like, you know, I might have been off a little bit here. If we break this structure, it might actually come down to like 36 cents. Yeah, see, I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong about where I had that lined up. I think I actually appreciate this more like this. It actually needs to come up a little bit more. But it might not be a straight 38 cents here. That might have been reaching. Could be here. It's very important to knock this on the numbers. Very important. Yeah, see, I think it's more like 36 cents. That's why when I was redoing that, it doesn't seem right. I think there's something bigger at play here. Because if we break this structure, I like it better how we have it set up. This is the top formation. Then if we break it, we've got the formation below, and that's the 2017. This is interesting. XRP's fighting for a lot here. It's really fighting here. And that's why this structure now, this makes more sense. I'm like, why does it keep speaking of that 41 cent area on the other chart if it's 38 cents underneath? It doesn't make sense. Makes sense now. It's got this rising channel, and why it's so important is because it's not just a drop down from 41 cents to 38.3. It actually goes down to 36 cents. So that's actually, we're actually learning something a little more. I went a little bit deeper, a little bit farther back in 2020. Instead of just mid 2020, we're back in beginning of 2020. Now it's speaking of just about 36, just over 36 cents and some change. So pay attention to this. And this is a very wide formation. And this is where it meets here. If you come here, whoops, what did I just do? And see, if you don't watch the lives every day, you're not going to see this. And I will get asked the exact same question of what I just talked about here today during the live a million times. And then I will also get the one saying, I don't have time to watch your lives. But then the same people who tell me, those same people all the time, I don't have time to watch your content, but what do you think about this person, as I appreciate watching them? Well, if you're telling me you don't have time to watch my content, but you're telling me somebody that I know is a pure fudster, how do you think I'm going to react? I'm probably not going to respond anymore to that person. So you disrespect me by not watching my content, and then you expect me to answer all the questions in the comments. And then at the same time, you tell me all these other influencers you're watching. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's what my family does. I don't have time to watch your content because I'm busy, but they spend half their life scrolling through TikTok and YouTube. It makes no damn sense. You make time for what you want. If you want to be prosperous in this crypto, if you want to be prosperous in this next upcoming exchange, and the flip, everybody says it's a flip of a switch. They can suck my gratuitous ball sack for all I care about that. Honestly, and I apologize for the language, but everybody who says flip the switch, come on now. We've been talking about this since 2020, flipping the switch. They just moved the date out. Eventually, they're going to say there was a flip the switch moment because we went from fiat to digital. That's it. It's not a flip of the switch. It doesn't exist. There's no switch that you can just flip that flips the price from $1 to $1,000 overnight. It's never going to happen. You're going to see the pump happen. You're going to watch it materialize on the chart, just like it's happened in all of human history, in the stock market, in the crypto market, in the bond market, in the equity markets, in the bullion markets, in the commodity markets. It's the same thing over and over and over. The real FUD and bullshit that goes on here is the fact that so many people will say charts don't matter. That is the overriding truth. The one easy way for you to lose my respect is to comment that the charts don't matter. Or when I put in a 30-minute update or an hour, when some people say, it doesn't matter what you just did. Oh, you're right. No, the one thing that doesn't matter is the comment. What I put out here is fact. This is all fact. This formation is fact. This isn't a figment of my imagination. What somebody types me about the new financial reset, or how they don't have to pay their taxes, or they don't have to pay their house payment because of what's going to happen with the flip of the switch, that's fantasy. You're in fantasy land. I deal with reality. That's why I butt heads with all these people in fantasy land. I don't deal fantasy. You know why? Because it doesn't pay the bills. Fantasy doesn't pay the bills. What fantasy does is it allows you to lose your portfolio, so you have to continue working and being a slave to the man every single day. It forces you to never be able to pay off your mortgage. It forces you to have to pay a 30-year structured fixed rate mortgage. We're on a $250,000 mortgage. It's going to cost you $425,000 with taxes over the top, with interest. But they won't tell you that. They tell you, we're going to flip. You're going to be able to not have to pay your house payment. You know how many times I've been told by people, influencers, that you're not going to have to pay your house payment on the new quantum financial system? Do you know how stupid that is? Honestly. So that is me saying my piece. And now moving on, because I want positivity over negativity. Don't care about negative comments, bro. You're offering pro, TA plus honestly and genuine. That's why you absolutely earn good people. I absolutely said you have to. I mean, it's true though. I mean, Donta said you even have to remind people not to get lost in Fantasyland. Exactly. Hope all is good, Tom. Hope Julie is getting... Yeah, she is getting better. She's just in a lot of pain. A lot of burning in her foot. You know, it's not easy to, this was her 5th surgery, you know, so it's, there's a lot of emotions going on. And, you know, my son, I still got to deal with his physical therapies. He's got to go tomorrow, but mom's going to be down. So, you know, it adds stress. And dealing with a lot of things. But the one thing that I can't wait until I can show everybody, just to show them the truth and the reality and what you can do if you just follow what I do. I don't charge for anything. So if you think I'm trying to get a head off of you, you need to look yourself in the mirror. If that was the case, I would have paid sponsorships, paid promotions, and I would have paid advertising outside of what YouTube advertises. And if you're not showing their advertising, they're not even going to promote you because they're trying to make money off of you. So that's something you got to deal with. But we see what's happening. Do you see what's happening? What do you think's going to happen on the 29th? When we have a buy the rumor, sell the news. Because I believe we're going to pump going into the IPO, or the announcement probably. I think that's what this is setting up for. It's the 26th today, and now it's setting up this inverted head and shoulders. So let's be real. This seems to be setting up a likely pump going into the, what I think is going to be a Ripple IPO announcement at best. At worst, it's just a party and they start announcing some tech. Maybe some other things on the ledger. But the big triangle has been extended to 2026. Oh, this goes until, I had it a little bit sooner, but I'm not holding hearts anymore. This first materializes in December of 24. It could go until 26 if it brings us down to the 2017 uptrend. It could go to 28. You heard that right. If we go to the 2013 uptrend. All are valid within this formation. And pay attention, folks. And you know what? I'm understanding, and I thank everybody who said this in the past several weeks. Quality over quantity. What does it matter if I've got 200 people watching if 100 people are just here to make people pissed off? I'd rather have 50 good minds in here to where we can have an active discussion, even in the middle of a day, and have a nice flow. I really do appreciate the ones who have the best interests of everybody at heart. So with XRP, another thing you won't hear. Bam. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, let's rewind. Started in 17, December. Went all the way 4 years plus. Matthew Hall, thank you for the $1.99. I greatly appreciate you pulling it forward or paying it forward. Tom has always been positive. Tom, always be positive. God is good, but absolutely God is great. That's why I wear this as a reminder. It says Yeshua. But see this? And God is good because he gives us the ability, the ones who stick it out every single day and want to hear the truth, to see the reality of what's going on. We're not hidden in the bullshit. We're not following somebody like BitBoy Crypto, who, I only speak of his name. Go watch his video today and you'll see what I'm talking about. The man who just begged for your donations, what he did yesterday or the day before was a disgrace. The lady who he's cheating on with his wife, he gets caught by the police trying to steal his old car back or whatever the case may be. There's a live video of it. I'm not just saying, pay attention to who you're watching. So this, 4 years, fail. That's a huge failure. Confirm the downtrend. Now we go again. Another 2.5 years. So far we failed. I mean, what is this telling you? Resistance, resistance, resistance. If you space it out appropriately, we're going to hit until we break out somewhere. That's why I keep saying, if you don't want to go through and play this true, this has got to break this somehow, some way. And everybody can say that's not the true formation because I get that a lot in the comments. It's the true formation. I don't have to justify it because it's the truth. Doesn't matter what anybody says. This is me just taking it off the charts. Period. Then some get mad. Oh my God, Tom. Oh my God. You're a piece of you-know-what. Now we have to wait for XRP to pump until 25, or end of 24. Oh my goodness. So, assume it does pump from there. So now you get to accumulate for about 1.5 years, right? Now you got a 279% pump. So if you play it properly, and let's just say you got $5,000, you can turn that into 18, 19 in 1 square foot. I don't feel sorry in the least. Nope. I used to feel sorry for him. I used to say he got too caught up in the finances, too caught up in what, you know, he got bigger than he thought he was going to. He got caught up in the spotlight or whatever the case may be. The truth is, he went to the devil. I got no remorse saying that. Everybody gets the option. I've had the option to turn towards the devil many times here. You have no idea how hard it is sometimes with the way I get talked to not just take these payments. But I have ethics, so it doesn't matter what anybody says to me. His wife and kids, yeah, deserve it, not him. He was literally, if you watch the latest, he got taken by the cops and he had Cassie in the car. I mean, I don't want to get into that because that's negative energy. But, you know, it's all about who you watch. Tom, just a hypothetical question. I got to wait for it to come back around. My voice is shot, ladies and gentlemen. I put in 35 minutes of my heart and soul here. And I'm sure at the end of the day, let me see. And I'm going to take this as a badge of honor. Just take a quick calculation. Okay. We have 18,503 subscribers. Probably tomorrow we'll have 1 or 2 less. We'll have 1 or 2 less because that's the flow right now. And somehow I'm going to have to break out of this downward slump as I'm stuck. The only way for me to do that is to continue grinding, and I'm just going to be me. So everybody who tuned in, everybody who added to this live, I greatly appreciate you. Everybody who stays positive, stays within the moment, and has a great understanding of the power of positivity, the power of understanding, and also the power of love. Some want me to have a softer spot for certain people. Can't do it. Can't do it, and that's not having a cold heart, that's having a realistic heart. When you're being taken advantage of by somebody, you've got to be open and honest about it. And you got to be realistic with yourself. There's nothing in it for you. You got to go the other way. I'm XRP, Future Millionaire. Make sure you give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ today. Make sure you do one kind act. Make sure, and not a charitable act through money. I want you to do one charitable act through kindness. Whether that means you go into the comments tonight and you help somebody who has an honest question. Maybe you you don't fan the flames when somebody's being negative. Maybe you are the light that extinguishes the darkness and you allow the power of positivity to shine through. You allow the negative Nancys to scroll away. You don't want the Debbie Downers in here. We want winners. I want winners. We're winners here. I'm a winner. You're a winner. We can be winners in this market. Don't let them trick you by thinking that a bear market's bad. This is the best thing we've ever had happen to us. This is what we need. You need bear markets to become rich. Some people go, Tom, you should see the comments. Tom, if he actually knew what he was talking about, he'd be a millionaire. But they're not understanding where I came from and what's about to happen. I literally went from living in the dumps with negative in my bank account and a 550 credit score after breaking my back. Until, you know, in the last several years since I discovered this, I was working a full-time job as a laborer. Not easy when you broke your back. And not easy to do things when you can only see out of one eye. The power of keratoconus. Can't see out of my left eye. But what they're not paying attention to is what I've taught you over 2.5 years. I wonder if these same naysayers, when I pay my house off before this year's over, what they're going to say. I've tried to make a pure example of myself. I just moved into my house and bought it mid last year. It's not a $5,000 house. I also don't brag about things. But I'm teaching you the way to do this so you don't have to be a victim. Everybody who responds in the negativity, that's a victim mindset. If you want the power of positivity, follow in my footsteps. And this isn't spotlighting the haters at all. You're right, MC Prosperity. This is more of, there's 2 ways you can go. You can take the narrative or maybe the perception that can be dictated sometimes, or you can take results and you can understand dedication doesn't just start because you have a commitment or because you have the energy or because you want to do something. The dedication starts when you start seeing the results, which means you have to have the commitment in the beginning when nothing's happening. Even when you're losing, then you start to see it materialize. You start to see maybe what some investments from 2017 look like in your gold and silver holdings compared to what you'd be looking at in the US dollar in terms of inflation. That might be look at your own individual crypto holdings, the difference between, for me, from 2021 to 2023. Taking 10 grand out in profits and being able to build a portfolio with just what was left over of the profits in the beginning, while still building an exponential central bank for myself. For me, the work put in, I see it through the audience size, not through the money made through this. This isn't about money for me. A lot of people use these social media because they need to make money. I don't need to. I can function just fine without doing YouTube. I don't want to not do YouTube because I love doing it. I love the connections I've made. And the whole join Tom's Army and pay it forward isn't so I can pay my bills. That's pay it forward for the time. See, I may be okay financially because of what I do, but the time is slipping away from me. I'm going to be 40 this year. I've now given you 3 years of my time, basically, every single day. So time is worth more than money, but at the same time, you have to understand when somebody's putting their time in and is aging right in front of you, you need to pay it forward, and you need to show respect. I'm actually a future millionaire. I treat you with respect because I respect each and every one of you. I bring the power of positivity because this might be the only time during the day somebody smiles. Don't forget that. I love each and every one of you individually. From the bottom of my heart, I mean that.